Howdy, 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 everyone. How are we? How are we? I am just making sure everyone is aware that we are live. Awesome. Welcome along to this festive workshop. Do you know what? Everything's just gone like tits up just before just before I jumped on this workshop. I left off half the ingredients of our meal prep, and my partner kindly was going to cook for us right now. But half of the meal prep is scattered across like all of the meals, but they're the main components of the meals. So he's trying to make basically 8 meals for the two of us, and it's not going to work. And so he's going to have to wait for me. Um, there we go. Look, that's life. Sometimes things happen and things get in the way. Anyway, how are we? How are we, team? I'm super excited to be here today with this very special workshop. We are going to be talking everything festive. Now, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I'm not a huge fan of Christmas. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving over here. However, I am very aware that the festive season can bring a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, a lot of overwhelm, a lot of emotions. So all of that can amount to a lot of emotional eating, comfort eating, survival eating. And of course, load up the fact that there's going to be a bunch of temptations everywhere, left, right, and center. So I know that trying to lose weight over this festive period for most people is just an absolute no. And that's perfectly fine. If you decide that you don't want to lose weight over Christmas and New Year's, then that's fine. That's your choice. If you want to, then I am here to show you that there is a way that you can still enjoy everything. You can enjoy the festivities, the people, the company, if you are around people that you want to be around. But you still get to enjoy the festive season while losing weight if you want to. And if that's for you, or if you're even thinking about maintaining weight, then this is the workshop for you. So I'm going to just double check, make sure that you guys can catch up with me. One of my screens is about a minute behind, so you should be there. We should be there. Awesome. So why are we gonna start now? Like, why should we just not wait until January to lose weight? Well, because in a meta-analysis of 29 long-term weight loss studies, more than half of them lost weight and they regained it within 2 years. And by 5 years, more than 80% of lost weight was regained. Long-term benefits, they require long-term attention. And so long-term behavioral change and obesity management require ongoing attention. So even the highest quality short-term interventions are unlikely to yield continued positive outcomes without persisting intervention and support. So several studies have shown that ongoing interaction with healthcare providers or in like group settings that significantly improves weight maintenance and long-term outcomes compared with treatments that end after a short period of time. What does that basically mean? Is when you're in a group setting, when you've got accountability, when you've got people around you, you can lose weight. However, most people who lose weight regain it. So again, you might say, well, why should I bother now? Because when it comes to losing weight and New Year's resolutions and starting in January, not only are you an extra month in, you are probably an extra few pounds, if not a few stones or kg, heavier. You're having to face and deal with all of the emotions and stress from the last month or so. And now you are not only just working away 10, 20, 50 pounds, you're now actually working away all of the weight that you've gained over 25% of the year. Why throw all of your hard work away for 25% of the year? That's a significant amount of the year. Why throw it all away just for the Christmas period, right? And in fact, research goes on to show that 23% of people who quit their resolution by the end of the first week, sorry, people who quit the New Year's resolution. They quit it by the end of the first week, and 43% quit by the end of January. So why do people fail at New Year's resolutions? Well, they are usually just set because they're a tradition, right? It's just, it's what we do. They're not necessarily goals. And they don't contemplate setbacks. They aren't planned out goals. They're just thoughts, and they just typically lack accountability. All of these things are going to mount up to something that is quite significant when it comes to setting weight loss goals and creating an action plan, creating step-by-step kind of accountability, leveling up. Sorry if you can hear that noise. That's the cat pining at the door. She was just getting all the strokes, and then I was like, right, you need to go. I've got this workshop on, and now she's just crying at the door. And so we set all of these New Year's resolutions, but they're not actually goals. They don't have any oomph behind them. And most resolutions are just on a whim. They don't think about the real reasons as to why you need to or want to lose weight. They don't talk about the ways in which you need to be changing your lifestyle. They're not planned out. They're not in steps, right? We don't even think about the setbacks because it's just a resolution. So basically, at the heart of it, New Year's resolutions, they are not strong enough. They're not powerful enough. And you are already 10 steps behind. It's like putting yourself in a race and just saying, oh, okay, like after everyone started running, then I might decide to run. And so you're going to make it harder. You're going to make it more difficult. You're going to make it feel impossible for yourself. And I don't want you to do that. So this presentation, by the way, it is kind of like a few key elements of the workshop that I did with my clients. That was about 2.5 hours long. This is not going to be about 2.5 hours long. But if you stick around, I've got something really exciting to tell you guys. So that will be at the end. I've actually got a slide in there to remind me because I'm always going to forget. Okay, so the way that I have broken it down is to think about the festive season before, during, and after. So there's some things that you can do before, there's some things that you can do during, and there's some things that you can do after. Okay, so the things that you want to do before, this is pre-season. You're going to need to focus on the basic fundamental pillars of health. I've talked about these a lot in the Facebook group, okay? Now, before we get into the fundamental pillars of health, what we also want to be doing is setting goals, right? So you need to be focusing on just your basics. That's it. Nothing fancy pants. Don't start a new diet. Don't try and do 100 different things at once. Just focus on your basics. I guarantee you, if you focused just on the basics, you get much further than you ever have done before. Because I guarantee you, you've not really done the basics before through Christmas, right? Through Thanksgiving. So first of all, I want you to set some really, really, really clear goals. These goals are going to drive you throughout the season to cut back. They're going to drive you to think twice, or they're going to just allow you to go crazy and not do anything at all. I want you to get honest and raw with your expectations. Be vulnerable with yourself. Understand that this is a season that does have some temptations. Is my health going to be okay for another month, or am I really going to set myself back? Is this a case of illness and disease, in which case I probably need to address it straight away? Or is this just a desire which, my desire might be to drink or eat an unlimited amount of food throughout Christmas? Now, let's be fair, for some people, that might be the more desirable thing to do over Christmas, in which case this isn't the workshop for you. If you want to prioritize alcohol and eating over spending time with family, resting, relaxing, whatever it is that you want to do over the festive season, if you want to spend time eating and drinking over those things, then realistically, your goal is probably to maintain or gain. And this is why I said, be honest with yourself. You can't expect to maintain weight if you decide to just go balls to the wall, throw everything up in the air and say, okay, I'm going to eat and drink everything without a care to the world. So tell yourself, okay, so basically my goal is going to be to gain weight. I'm not going to try and gain weight, but realistically, that's going to be the result. So can you see how the difference is between just setting a goal and an intention, but then be setting a realistic and honest goal, an honest intention? That honesty with yourself is going to go very far because then by the end of the festive season, you're probably not going to feel really freaking disappointed with yourself that you didn't meet an unrealistic expectation. So when we look at the basics, we also want to think about eating when we're hungry. So just every time you put something to your mouth, ask yourself, am I hungry? Now, if the answer is no, don't eat it. It really is that simple. It really is that simple. And this can stop you from mindlessly eating, overeating, binge eating, tasting and trying all of the foods just because they're there, right? Just start eating when you're physically hungry. Wait until those hunger signs. Keep all of these foods. If there's people going around handing things out and you want to try them, great, put them to the side. But just start eating when you're hungry. And then I want you to stop eating when you've had enough. Not full, but enough. And this will take some time to tune into. And don't worry, Christmas probably isn't the greatest time to find what your enough feels like to you. But just stop when you've had enough food. Not until, like, this is before you feel bilious, before you feel sick, before you have to unbutton your pants. Now, the other basics, the 5 fundamental pillars of health are water, sleep, stress, food, and movement, which I actually forgot to put on here. So water, I want you to hydrate. Make sure you're getting a significant amount of water and try and drink as much more water as you can. Give yourself a target. Sleep, you need to be getting 7 to 8 hours sleep. Absolutely bare minimum, right? 7 to 8 hours sleep. Make sure you're scheduling that. These are your basic human needs. If we aren't meeting these specific human needs, you are going to be playing with your hormones. You're going to be bringing on more cortisol. You're going to be struggling to sleep, struggling to rest and recuperate and replenish. And all of that is leading to a struggle to drop body fat. Your body will hold on to that body fat. So this is why these basics are fundamental, right? Hydrate, sleep, stress management. It's no surprise that the festive period is stressful. It's a stressful one. So with stress, I want you to manage it appropriately. What can you do daily and weekly, every single day, every week throughout the next, 8 weeks to get a handle on your stress? Good food. So prioritize the good food, prioritize the nutritious foods, the foods that fuel you, that make you feel freaking awesome. And the 5th fundamental pillar of health, which I totally left off here, was movement. Your body doesn't know that it's Christmas. Your body doesn't know that it's a Saturday or Sunday. Our bodies were made to move. They were not made to stagnate. So the longer you sit down and feed yourself for, the more you're going to struggle getting up, the more you're going to struggle to move your body, the more you're going to struggle to work that glucose through into your cells, right? So we need to be as fit as we possibly can. It is our tradition, me and my partner's tradition, to go to the gym on Christmas morning. Now, for some of you, that might be a hard no. For some of you, that might think, oh, that's different. I might try that. But do you know how freaking amazing you can feel if you go to the gym on a Saturday, on a Christmas Day morning, knowing that there's extra food that you would like to eat? And because you've been there, we're not creating obsessive thinking around exercising and burning off the calories. That's not what I want to do here. I don't want to create this. Please don't get me wrong, right? I don't want to create a unhealthy relationship with movement, regime, strict exercise routines. That's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is just moving my body so that by lunchtime, I'm really hungry. And then I can have some food. And then by dinner time, because I've moved my body so much and moved weights around in a way that I enjoy the gym. Some of you might not, right? Because I've been doing that, feeling good, raising those endorphins. Not only am I going to have more space for more food, but I'm going to be in a much better mood. I'm going to be able to reduce that stress, right? Reduce those hormones, the ones that are keeping our body fat on. And so you've got the mental clarity, you've got physical clarity, you've got physical capacity, you've got more energy. And that's exactly what we want for Christmas Day. So why does it feel harder to follow the basics during the holidays? Well, mainly because holiday foods taste amazing. Let's be fair. So they are holiday delights, right? They're special, and we only get to have them for about 25% of the year. And it's tempting to keep eating them just because they taste good. And we often will think, oh, well, to hell with it. You know, it's just once a year. But I want you to ask yourself, what are these extra bites really doing for me? What are they going to do? Most of the time, the first few bites are like the very best. The rest just then leaves you feeling overly full. So we can eat all these foods, but we will probably feel very full up very quickly and very sick. So remind yourself that the fun of eating doesn't really last longer just because you're eating more. So we're also conditioned to finish what's on our plate. Many of us were taught not to waste food. Don't leave the table without eating your food, without finishing your plate, or it's rude to leave food on your plate. But just to ask yourself again, do I really want that food on my body, or is it better in the trash? It's okay to leave food behind, even if people around you are eating everything and anything. And the more practice you have stopping it enough, the easier it becomes to get to your goal weight without feeling deprived. And here's the key. I don't tell this very often, but the key to weight loss and not feeling deprived is to eat until your body is satisfied. So we need to eat regularly. We need to top up the body's fuel gauge. So if we feel deprived, if we deprive ourselves of any calories or a strict amount of calories, then we're going to really, really struggle and feel deprived and hungry. But that's not what we do. That's not what we do here in Overhaul. So eat until you've had enough. And number 3, well, stress and anxiety. Yeah, the holidays, they're busy. Stress can lead to us eating for comfort. Add in social anxiety, like having to deal with family or meeting new people, talking with the boss, wearing uncomfortable outfits, having to take photos, yada, 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 right? All of that. Food and alcohol then tends to be our go-to, our coping mechanism, because it is in abundance. It is literally everywhere we look at this time of year. But just remember, guys, eating won't solve that stress, right? It won't make you feel better in that holiday dress. In fact, it's probably going to make it worse. So the key is to really take a pause and ask yourself, am I actually hungry, or am I just trying to feel better? Am I just trying to distract myself? This awareness could be the difference. Literally, just this awareness could be the difference between achieving success and not achieving success. So pre-season, we're still planning ahead. We're still being very mindful. It's important to understand your challenges, your needs, and your requirements throughout the festive period. So I want you to brainstorm before you go into Thanksgiving, before you go into a Christmas party. Just brainstorm what is important for you right now to do in the next 2 months, right? What do you need to focus? What do you need to make sure you do or don't do? And you can think about things like alcohol. What alcohol do you want? What are your limits? Do you want to drink? Do you not want to drink at certain situations? What food choices do you want? Do you want to be 100% vegan? Do you want to bring your own food? Do you want to eat before you go to these places? Do you just want to stay consistent with your eating habits? Think about your health and your weight. What do you want to do? Do you want to lose, maintain, or gain? Outcomes. What outcomes do you want from the next couple of months? Do you want to eliminate eating cravings, or did you want to just get through the work due with your boss and not getting absolutely plastered? Maybe the goal for the next couple of months is to really disconnect from social media, disconnect from work, and connect with loved ones or family. So just get clear on what you want, what you know that you're going to find challenging, and what your requirements are throughout the next couple of months. In this planning phase, there are a few things that you can also do. So we can also handle surprises. When life throws us shit, we can still keep going, especially when we've planned the surprises. And you're probably thinking, that doesn't make any sense. Most of what we think is unexpected during the holidays, but actually isn't unexpected. It's not a surprise at all. For example, the family, like the drill might be, we're always traveling, we're having a family gathering, schedules always change, there's people that turn up unannounced, there's always the drunk uncle, and he probably always comments on your weight, your health, your diet, your clothes. These things, they might happen every year. So instead of us feeling caught off guard, feel in control. Plan ahead. Take stock of all of the shit that threw you off mentally, physically, off plan, just off what you thought that you were going to do. Take everything that threw you off or everything that happened in the last few years and write it down a list of the things that will get in your way. If you're traveling, you might need to face some airport food or petrol stations, like gas station snacks, right? You need to figure out what kind of foods you might get or coffee. Maybe restaurants if you're on the go, if you're in the US. You guys have got a lot further to go between places than we do over here in the UK. Maybe you've got family gatherings that you might be offered food. And yeah, probably Uncle Dave is going to make his rude comments as he always does. These things, if they've happened before, they're not surprises. And if they're not surprises, they can be planned for. And if they're planned for ahead of time by taking 5-10 minutes to do this specific exercise, you're going to have a much higher success rate. And this really is that simple, right? To lose weight is just to plan ahead because you're not going to be sidetracked. You're not going to be taken like a curveball, right? It's not going to hit you out of nowhere. It's not going to take you somewhere that you didn't expect. And when you plan for it, you have a planned reaction. And a planned reaction is much better thought out, is probably going to be much more productive than a instant reaction to something, right? And if none of this is new to you, if it's predictable, we can prepare for it. This is number one when busting the I didn't expect it thought. Just be honest with yourself. Is this a typical scenario? Sometimes things like an unexpected trip to A&E or ER, that is totally unexpected. And I totally get that. But instead of letting the predictable surprises throw you off, it's time to be honest and take control. So I want you to create these 3 lists at home and recreate them. Make a list of what will get in your way. These are the things that you know are going to happen, like traveling, parties, break rooms filled with snacks, holiday gatherings. Be honest about the situations that could mess up with your plans, right? Then number 2, we're going to make a list of what could get in your way. These are the curveballs, right? Things that might happen but aren't necessarily guaranteed, like holiday parties with unknown menus, surprise guests, we don't really want. Aunt Petunia. Or last minute plans, last minute cancellations, right? So, for example, heading to a holiday party, but you don't know what's on the menu. Could be champagne and cheese boards or Aunt Petunia's casserole. Maybe Aunt Petunia is very avid with her pushy food shoving words and trying to shove it under your face. And no matter how many times you say no, she keeps asking and keeps asking. Instead of sitting back and going, do you know what? If it wasn't for Aunt Petunia and her casserole, I wouldn't have overeaten, right? We don't want to be saying those things because that is so disempowering when actually you had every single opportunity to continue to say no. It's only because you got bored of saying no. When you're playing this game with someone, when you're playing with people pushers, food pushers, you are simply playing a game of who's going to give up first, right? And don't forget, food pushers aren't trying to sabotage your goals. They're probably not trying to make you fat. They're probably not trying to piss you off or upset you. Realistically, they're probably giving you their love in a way that they know. A lot of people who cook and then food push, their act of love comes from a place of that cooking, baking, cooking, creating something for them is a way that they get to show you their love. So these people, I keep saying people pushers, these food pushers, they're actually just trying to show you love and attention, but you just need to handle yourself properly. So if you struggle with these kind of people and this scenario, making sure that you are well equipped and giving yourself 100 ways that you can say no instead of saying screw it and then being really disappointed with yourself because of the spiral that happened because you just didn't decide to say no. And then we've got the third list is our typical reactions. So just just have a look at the thoughts that come up over this festive season, the feelings. Maybe the thoughts are, I wish that I wasn't here, or I wish I wasn't always around food. I wish the food wasn't so good. Maybe it is things like I love being around my family. My God, my headphones just sent a notification in my ears and it just scared the bejesus out of me. And then have a look at your feelings. Like, how do I feel around the festive season? What are your typical reactions? If Uncle Dave gives us a really inappropriate comment, what is your reaction? What is your typical reaction? Do you drink in response? Do you angry eat? Do you do you overeat to get one back on them? If you're one of these people, this is a very important part for you to also be very mindful about, but plan ahead. So that's pre-season. Mid-season, post-season are much, much quicker. They're like 2 slides each. All right. Are you guys with me? If you are watching this live, oh my goodness, there's a whole bunch of comments that I haven't seen. Sorry. Paula, nice of you to join us. How are you? I'm great, thank you. I'm still trying to lose weight. Brilliant. Well, you're in the right place. Yes, water is best. Okay, awesome. Right. Sorry, Paula. I've only just seen the comments and I've been looking what I thought was going to show me comments, but it's not. Okay, guys. So if you're still with me, just give me a yes. Just let me know if you're still with us, Paula. Now we're going to look at mid-season. So what can we do in the moment to lose weight or to maintain weight? So there's some really, really simple, like logically simple things. You've just got to be aware of it. So handling in the moment stuff, the best things that you can do is just remember the cardinal rule, like the main rule is just think before you eat. That's really it. And if you install that every single day when you wake up throughout the festive period is remember and think before I eat. And I guarantee you, you'll see a big difference in the way that you acted last year and the way that you're going to act this year. So you must also think while you eat, right? So being mindful not only amplifies the enjoyment from our food, it actually helps us feel fuller, faster, and aligns better with our goals. And the fun part about all of these things, right, is that nobody actually needs to know that you're wanting to lose weight or that you're trying to lose weight over Christmas. No one needs to know that. They're not gonna know, because these things that I'm going to give you today, they're not obvious that you're doing them. And you can do them anywhere and they're for free, right? So you can breathe between bites. Sounds very simple, sounds very logical. Good. If it does sound simple and logical, good, because that's what it's supposed to be. How often can you tell me that during a meal you take some intentional breaths to help with your digestion, right? Oh, bloody cat hair. Oh no, this is it now. That's it. I'm going to be digging in my eye for the rest of the night. Practice a 20-minute meal kind of time cap. So most of us take about 2 to 5 minutes to eat our food. If you give yourself a 20-minute time frame to try and eat, you'll be stretching your meal out to 20 minutes. 20 minutes is ideal. After 20 minutes, your stretch receptors are going to start stretching. It's going to send the signal up to your brain to tell your brain that you have had enough food. However, if you shove in food at twice the pace, 20 minutes later, you could have consumed twice, 3, 4, 5 times more calories than if you were to slow your meal down and stretch it up over the 20 minutes instead of eat as fast as you can for 20 minutes. Put cutlery down between bites. So actually putting your cutlery down is a huge, huge way that we can just take a pause and take a break and ask ourselves if we're still hungry. Do we still need to eat? You can turn off all distractions like the TV. You can put some Christmas music on. You can engage with family. So basically, try not to be overstimulated. And you can try and practice your chewing, right? Most people chew once, twice, 3 times, and then swallow. Well, I like to say you basically might as well open up the door to your stomach and say, come on in, guys. Like, just chuck it right in here. There's no point for chewing and digestion. Who needs that anyway, right? So this is how we can be mindful around our eating. And this is how we're going to be mindful around our drinking. If you're a drinker and you are not too sure what you're going to do, here's a couple of little techniques for you. You can savor your drink. So really, really drink that as long as you can. Long it out, keep it in the mouth for a while. Enjoy it. A lot of people will eat and drink just really quickly. Have you ever noticed that if you really like a food, it just goes down really quickly? Like, why do we try and get rid of it to take another bite as fast as we can? It's like when people do drugs, right? Like, have you ever heard, like, when you see on movies where they take the drug and they're like, ah, give me more, give me more, give me more. That's kind of like the same effect that we have with alcohol and food. So just be mindful that if it's food and alcohol, it is just another vice, and just another vice like drugs are to some people, right? So savor your drink, really slow it down, really enjoy it. You can set a drink limit and stick to it, right? Give yourself a maximum of 5 drinks. You can decide on your drink of choice and you don't have to, and do not deviate. So I'm just going to have wine, or I'm just going to have beer. You can drink 1 to 1, so 1 water to 1 unit of alcohol. And you can check in hourly with yourself. This is very discreet. You can put a timer on your phone or on your smartwatch. Doesn't need to be obvious. Again, the things that we're looking at, nobody needs to know. They're not obvious. You can do them anywhere, and you can always say no. Same with the food pushers. Okay. So we've got mindful eating, mindful drinking practices. And then, of course, one of the main things that I mentioned about weight loss over the festive period, sorry, I've got cat hairs in my eyes, is about really about staying active. Again, we want to be moving our bodies. Your body doesn't take a break because it's Christmas or because it's Saturday. Yes, we need rest periods, but by the way, for anyone watching this, unless you have a chronic illness, a rest day does not mean sitting on your ass all day and watching Netflix. Okay. A rest day is a rest from intense, hardcore exercise. So if you do like HIIT sessions every single day, you'll want to take a day off. If you lift heavy weights, you'll want to take a couple of days off because your muscles need to recover. But it doesn't mean that you sit there and do nothing. You still go out and move your body. So same rule applies over Christmas, folks. I want you to keep active, right? Get outside. I know it's cold. For the love of God, I know it's cold. But how much joy do you get from wrap a scarf around your head and get your gloves on, get it around, just warm up and get nice and cozy and go out and get some fresh air. Your body, your mind, and your soul will benefit greatly. We can get some we can get some exercise, we can get some fresh air, we can get some nature just by getting outside, right? You can do some indoor workouts if you don't want to go outside or you want to add something in, right? YouTube is a fantastic place to get some indoor workouts. You can do some family fitness challenges like a family squat challenge, or probably not just after dinner. I wouldn't suggest that, but maybe I know that someone's removed all of the seats in their house, so everyone had to stand up or sit on the floor or squat. I love that idea. Maybe not for Christmas, but I do love that idea. You can volunteer for active tasks like maybe park runs, if there's any Christmas Day park runs, or soup kitchens or stuff like that where you're on your feet. And you might have a tradition. So, for example, my tradition is after we eat, we go for a walk. Not only is that great for your metabolism, great for your insulin, it is fantastic again for your mindset and for your digestions. There are so many reasons why we need to move our body. Just because it's Christmas doesn't mean that our body takes a rest. Just because it's Christmas doesn't mean that our brain takes a rest either. So don't forget to be managing your stress throughout the period, okay? Practice daily mindfulness tasks, set realistic expectations, and establish some boundaries and self-care. Not many people establish boundaries. Not many people put in some intentional self-care practices. I would love, love, love for you guys to be putting this in your diaries. Absolutely love it because it's incredibly important. So that's pre, that's mid, and now we've got post season. This is even quicker than the last, I promise you. So post season, how are we going to look after ourselves after the festive period, after the New Year's? Everything dies down. The champagne is not as fizzy anymore. It's not as free flowing. What are we going to look at? So the first thing I want you to look at is your mindset. Where are you at? Right. So this is kind of January time. Where are you at? What are your thoughts that are coming up now the season is over? Are you disappointed? Are you pissed off? Are you happy? Because ultimately this, whatever you record right now, is going to shape next year's review, next year's plan, the idea that you're going to have next year, right? Basically how you're feeling now in your mindset. Oh, really itchy eyes. It's the bloody cat. I think I'm allergic to her. Checking in with your mindset, sorry, checking in with your mindset right now, right after the season's over, like let's say January the 2nd or January the 3rd. How are you feeling now? Because everything that you're feeling, you're going to create a plan for next year, or just outline some things that you wish that didn't happen or that you're happy that happened, so that next year can be even more successful. I always tell my clients, you are never failing, because anytime something doesn't work, you have found out something that doesn't work, which is incredible progress, as opposed to not finding out anything. It's not failing, it's falling forward, because you're still learning, you're still practicing. Imagine if I gave up my business because the first thing failed. I tell you what, I wouldn't have been here for the last 5 years. We are growing at Overhaul Health and Wellness exponentially, especially in the last couple of months. It's been huge. I'm doing something for Black Friday. Oh, surprise. I'm doing something for Black Friday, and I can't even have a huge capacity because I literally one of me, right? I can't give too many spaces away because we are growing, we're getting better, and bigger. But imagine if after the first failure, I gave up. You wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be changing lives. Okay. So really assess with your mindset. Notice any negative thoughts that you might be having about yourself, your body, what happened. Why are these thoughts normal for you? Why is this way of thinking normal? And the next step after that is just really ask yourself, instead of thinking these unhelpful thoughts, how can I change this into a positive? Okay. The second thing for post season is self-assessment. So the three basic questions that you can always ask yourself: what went well? What didn't go well? What will I improve? So this kind of ties in with the mindset thing. I want you to just reassess, assess how the festive period went for you, what did go well, what didn't go well, and what you would like to change or improve for next season. Because again, you're failing forward. So if everything went tits up and you didn't enjoy everything, put it down, write it down. What didn't work? What surprises came up? What things could you have guessed but didn't come up? All of this is a learning opportunity to make next year feel even more fantastic, or actually just good, if that's where you're at. So self-assessment. And the third thing is recovery. Okay. Now there's a huge difference between catching up and making up. What I like to say is catching up is slowly reintroducing habits, slowly improving and increasing your good habits and your healthy habits, and start ditching the ones that might have come up over the festive season, the ones that you don't want. And that's catching up, right? Catching up is reintroducing slowly, just kind of waking up the bear, right? Getting back into the swing of things versus making up. There's a huge difference in this. And making up is when we start starving ourselves, punishing ourselves, over exercising. We try and throw ourselves in the deep end with all of our habits that we want to do, or all of the things that we want to do. But that just has us feeling really shit, really deprived, really, really tired. And of course, we are creating a punishment cycle. And if anyone's ever been here, tried to lose weight, ever yo-yo dieted before, we do not want that cycle, because that is what perpetuates the yo-yo dieting. We go up and then we go down. That is not for you. Awesome. So that is pre, mid, and post season. They are the key things that I wanted to tell you. You are now fully prepped for Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. You are so, so welcome. I know this is a huge workshop, so thank you so much for sticking with me. It's been about 45 minutes. I appreciate you. Guys, just to let you know, I am doing a huge Black Friday offer. Like I said to you, I only have capacity for 5 people. 5 people, because there's a lot of hand holding. There's a lot of information on there, okay? I'm going to release a Black Friday offer on Black Friday. If you want the early bird opportunity to jump on those 5 spaces, once they're gone, right? So if you want to be the first to hear and say yes or no, then you need to get on the wait list. So just comment on this video, waitlist or VIP. I will make sure that I get you the first opportunity to say yes or no when the offer is released before Black Friday. Those on the wait list, they will get the opportunity on Thursday before everyone else gets their chance on Black Friday this week, not next week, this week. Oh my God. So if you're interested, drop the word waitlist or VIP underneath this video in the comments below. I will send you the information that you will receive and need to get on the wait list. And then as soon as the information gets released on Thursday, you'll get first dibs. So I am super, super pumped for this. It's a huge offer, and this price will never be available again. We are growing, guys. We are growing. We're getting bigger. We're getting better. So if you have been wanting to get into coaching, this is your last possible opportunity for this price. I'm excited. I cannot believe that I am saying that, because that just goes to show how big we have grown this year. And I'm really grateful, And I'm super excited to see what 2025 has to offer for us, guys, as we get bigger and better. I Love you all. Very much appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much. If you want the first opportunity to say yes or no for Black Friday, make sure you comment waitlist or VIP, and I will send you the details. Take care, folks. Have a wonderful Christmas. I will see you before. Yeah, I'll see you before. I'll see you soon. Bye. Well, yeah, you're gonna have to give me a second because now I'm gonna have to try and figure out how to turn this off. Okay, bye.